The wait is over and the UEFA Champions League final is back with the first round of 16 fixtures kicking off next week. Ahead of those games, let's take a look at the second round as a whole and remind ourselves of the key matchup in Europe's elite club competition. The reigning French champions are currently 8 points clear at the top of League One, and they qualified for the second round of the Champions League courtesy of a runners-up place in Group H. Bayern are top of their domestic league as well, and their route to the last 16 was as smooth as it comes, topping Group C by a massive 8-point margin. Italian giants AC Milan will go up against Italian Antonio Conte, with the Tottenham Hotspur taking on the Rossoneri for a place in the quarterfinals. Spurs top Group D, but with the lowest points of any group winner, while Milan, who finished runners-up in Group E, are currently 6th in Serie A and without a win in their past 5 league outings. Club Brugge versus Benfica has all the makings of a David and Goliath encounter, with the Belgian side 4th in their domestic league but racking up impressive wins against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League group stage last year. Benfica look like a very serious team this season, top of the Primera Liga and going unbeaten in their last 8 matches in all competitions. Oh, and they top Group H as well, playing out 2 1-1 draws with PSG and putting 6 past the old lady of Turin. German outfit Borussia Dortmund will take on Chelsea in a match that would have meant a lot to Thomas Tuchel. The Black and Yellows finished 2nd in Group G with only 2 wins to their name, whereas Chelsea topped Group E on an impressive 13 points. It'll be the first ever European knockout round for Graham Potter, and the Englishman will face a tough job turning his richly assembled squad into a team good enough to deal with Jude Bellingham and co. Liverpool also face a massive job against defending champions Real Madrid, with the Champions League the only chance of silverware left for Klopp's side this season. The Reds finished 2nd in Group A on 15 points, but without a win so far in 2023, you get the sense that Carlo Ancelotti's men will wrap up this tie with minimum fuss. Runaway leaders by a country mile in the season Serie A, Napoli will aim to book their place in the quarterfinals by dispatching Europa League champions Eintracht Frankfurt. The German side are 5th in the Bundesliga and unbeaten in their last 5, but Napoli are a team on fire, and with 20 Champions League goals, they have already scored more goals than any other side in this year's competition. Manchester City are a club in crisis off the pitch, so their trip to RB Leipzig will no doubt come as a welcome distraction for Pep Guardiola's side. Leipzig currently sit 4th in the Bundesliga, having won their last 4 matches on the bounce, and they beat Real Madrid 3-2 en route to a 2nd place finish in Group F. And finally, the other Italian giants, Inter Milan, will take on Porto in the last remaining round of 16 matchup. Porto top Group B and are currently 2nd in the Primera Liga on 45 points, while Inter are also 2nd in their domestic campaign, a massive 13 points behind league leaders Napoli.
Let's start with Milan against Tottenham. An intriguing matchup this one. Albert, you're a Spurs fan. Last time these two played back in 2010, 2011 in that tempestuous battle. Remember the whole Joe Jordan, Rino Gattuso went at it head to head? It was great. Quick trivia for you.
Yeah.
Who scored the winning goal?
Peter Crouch.
Oh, well done.
Pass from Aaron Lennon. Now you can't forget those things, right? A win at the San Siro. That was their only meeting, I think, in the Champions League. I think that was it.
Yeah.
The other bit of trivia I have, the only player to be transferred from Spurs to AC Milan?
Spurs to AC Milan. Ooh.
Jimmy Greaves, 1961-62.
Wow.
Jimmy Greaves in the news.
Still the highest scorer in English football, by the way.
Yes,
No,
but not
the Premier League didn't just start in 1992.
But not for Spurs. So that goes to Harry Kane. But yes, intriguing fixture. At the moment, both teams going different ways with form. I mean, look at Spurs. 3 wins in a row, 3 clean sheets. You look at AC Milan, last 7, 5 losses, winless. It's not going well. And both of them actually have goalkeeping issues. Huge knock for Spurs. Hugo Lloris is out up to 8 weeks. In comes Fraser Forster.
Big man.
Big man. He does have some Champions League experience, by the way. When you remember 2011, no, not 2011, 2016, I believe. It was Celtic against Barcelona at Parkhead when they won 2-1. Was that 2016? I believe so.
You're asking the wrong person.
So he has a little bit of Champions League experience. They're going to lean on him a ton because, I mean, with Spurs, there's never really been a clear number 2. Over the years, it's been Michel Vorm. He was there for a long time, only started 11 games. Brad Friedel, that's who Lloris took over for. Gazaniega had a bit of a run, but it's mostly been Hugo Lloris who's been in that goal. So now they have to rely on somebody for almost up to 8 weeks. I think Spurs might struggle a bit, but we don't know what Tottenham are going to get from him. But in this tie, based on form at the moment, I mean, Spurs, you would think, have the edge.
You would think so. I mean,
Yeah.
Milan have just declined so rapidly since they won the title last year. Been so poor. Pressure on Stefano Pioli, although it's a little bit unfair given they did win the championship last year.
Yeah.
Olivier Giroud. Don't forget about him. Knows Spurs really well. He scored 4 goals against them back in his days at Chelsea and Arsenal, of course. But it's a tight one. This should be an interesting one. Give me a result, Sarah.
Oh, I'm gonna go for Spurs.
Really?
Yeah, maybe 2-1 San Siro.
I want to give the edge to Milan being at the San Siro. I feel like when it comes to these types of matches, European night in Italy at the San Siro, like throw the form out the window. It's almost like a derby, I feel.
It depends
right?
who they play though. Like also they haven't been using
know.
Leao and stuff. How are you not using a player
But
like
you look at, there's so many things you can look at. Spurs' record in Champions League, Conte's record in the Champions League isn't very good. You're missing your number one keeper, the leader and captain. I think that's a huge blow that many people are kind of dismissing, but it really is. I mean, you're missing your leader
Do you
back
think
there.
Harry needs a big nut in Europe? For part of his legacy.
Yeah, he hasn't had
at
one, right?
Spurs? Not really. Listen, he's played well. Don't get me wrong. He's scored goals in the Champions League, but he needs that moment.
Yeah.
Where people say, "Man, that was the moment that Harry Kane took us to the next level."
Yeah. There's a stat, I can't remember now, but I went through all of Harry Kane's performances in big matches, like deciding games, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. And he doesn't have a fantastic record, doesn't score many goals. He's usually injured for most of them, to be honest, but he doesn't have that. So, I mean, if he wants to stay at Spurs, if that's the case, and he wants them to push on, they need a deep run, and they're going to heavily rely on him, obviously.
Also on Valentine's Day, Sarah, is PSG. Bayern Munich.
Oh.
Injury hell, though, for PSG at the moment. Bayern, of course, are also missing players, including their captain, Manuel Neuer.
Yeah.
But for PSG, the big two up top, gone.
Yeah, I mean, we just
Probably.
learned about Messi picking up a knock against Marseille hamstring, which is not good at his age, not good ever.
He's played a lot
But
of football, right?
yeah, he has. Carrying a team to the World Cup's not easy, is it?
Especially at that age.
No, but I mean, Mbappe as well, losing them the week before. That's 10 goals from Messi, 13 goals from Mbappe this season in Liga, on top of Messi's 10 assists. Like, these are 2 key players for these guys. It's concerning because where are they going to get the goals from? Neymar, okay, but he's not as consistent. I mean, Sergio Ramos scored for the first time in the Coupe de France yesterday since July. They're kind of all over the place here. Bayern, on the other hand, yeah, Neuer's gone, but Jan Sommer stepped in and he's been fitting in well. And their last 2 matches, even though they went before that 4 ties in a row, scored 8 games in 4 matches. They're not worried about goals. They spread the love there with Choupo-Moting, Mane, Musiala.
But this Neuer thing
Flying.
threatens to really upset Bayern Munich, doesn't it? I mean, they're having this meeting with him after the interview he did last week, where he really criticised the club for firing his best mate, the goalkeeper coach.
Yeah.
And they're saying, we'll put it off until after the PSG match. So there's something wrong there, it seems. Obviously, he won't be captain for this one because he's out for the entire season, but someone's done a nice job there. Some trivia for you, by the way. So obviously, they played last time back in 2020, 2021, 3-3, PSG advance and away goals. Prior to that, they won in the 2019-2020 final. Remember that one? Bayern, PSG. Bayern winning their 6th Champions League title. Who scored the winning goal?
Oh,
Muller? Choupo-Moting?
No, I can't believe I forgot about this one.
Kingsley Coleman?
Well done.
Oh, yeah, it
Coleman,
was
that's
such a
right.
good.
Brain
It was
busters.
such a good
Thomas
Right.
goal.
Tuchel was manager for PSG, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
That's right.
The turnover at PSG is unbelievable.
Well, people forget
Yeah.
why the PSG got to the final of the Champions
Yeah.
League.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone says, they're failures in Europe. And I guess
Yeah.
what they spend, they are failures, but they did get to a final. They have made a semi-final.
More pressure on PSG here in this
One
tie?
What? They're also at home.
No
This is
doubt.
at the Parc des Princes, and they're losing their 2 best players potentially.
Maybe it's strange to say, but I kind of see it as a bit of a free hit for PSG. Because if you're knocked out by Bayern, right, that carries some weight.
Yes.
It's not being knocked out by Club Brugge or
But still,
no
PSG
think-
disrespect.
to win the
Yeah,
championship.
They have to win, I know.
The initial thing was the reason they're playing Bayern is because they came second in their group.
Good point.
That's
Yeah,
the takeaway
true.
from
That's-
this. Like
they
they're
put
only
themselves
in this
position.
exactly.
Right.
And yeah, them at home without their 2 best players. Honestly, this one I'm favoring Bayern. I mean, unless I think they say Mbappe could be back, but he's not going to be 100% fit. Is that even going to be a good idea? I don't know. This is for Bayern. This one.
If you're a fan of PSG, though, so the rumours are this week that their owners now want to buy Manchester United, right? Which you can't actually do,
Yeah.
according to UEFA rules. Now, they'll probably find a way around it, but will they have to potentially sell PSG to buy Manchester
Right.
United? This is a really interesting week, I think, for ownership-wise in football across Europe, and that's the biggest one. Dortmund, Chelsea, speaking of new owners, Todd Bowley, Graham Potter, experience in Champions League football. Potter's first game ever in charge, in fact, of the Champions League. He put his squad out there. No Aubameyang, no Datgo Fofana. Badiashile, who's played quite well recently, he's out of the squad as well. So it's going to be a new-look team once again. This is a really good matchup, though. I really enjoy this one, I think. Dortmund are playing really good football in Germany at the moment. Chelsea are going to find their way, I think, under Graham Potter. I'm picking Chelsea in this one. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I just don't know what team Potter's going to put out there. I mean, they've had a turn of form recently. The last 3 games, 3 clean sheets. They picked up a win against Crystal Palace. But you'd expect that team to change once again in the Champions League. Now, in comes João Felix once again. And you're still getting Enzo Fernandez, who's getting used to this
He was great
team.
in his first game.
Really, he was. And then you have Mudryk. There's so many players that still need to find their place in this team and kind of find their footing, being in a new league for most of these players. I just don't know what to expect from them. I would say the one consistent thing from Chelsea has been Thiago Silva. So I think if he's in there defensively, he gives them a shot every single game. I just don't know what to expect. I want to lean towards Dortmund, actually.
I actually do too. Dortmund's at home. Remember that. That is a scary place to play. We know how those fans are. So, I mean, just home advantage right there. And I think Albert's right. We don't know what Chelsea are going to put out. This team has been switching their 11 for the last 3 months.
Yep.
So I don't know, with that, the zero consistency, are players even playing with one another that much? I don't know. As of right now, I don't think it's going to go Chelsea's
I
way.
do think once it clicks, once he finds that team, I think Chelsea are going to be very good.
How long is that gonna take,
There's
though?
it could be quick, you never know, but it could take a long time. There's so much talent in that team. They can be dominant if they figure it out.
For
Yeah,
sure.
we'll see, and hopefully it's in time for next season because they may not have Champions League football next year unless they win this thing.
Yeah.
So they better turn around pretty quickly. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I love Dortmund as well. I'm probably dismissing them too quickly here, but it'll be a good one. Those first legs of these matches are so cagey usually as well, usually quite low scoring. So we'll see. Bruges against Benfica, the first ever time they met before. Scott Parker now in charge of Club Bruges, which I forgot all about. He signed just after Christmas. Great campaign so far in the Champions League, but Benfica are monsters this year under Roger Schmidt at the moment.
Just one loss
Yeah.
in the entire competition. I thought they really start faltering after Enzo Fernandez left. That's not the case. Other players are picking up the slack. Look at João Mario, 16 goals this season. Remember him? West Ham legend, João Mario. I'm leaning towards Benfica, to be honest. I haven't watched much of Club Brugge in domestic league and domestic play. There's a very good team there, but I think once you enter into the round of 16, these knockout phases in the Champions League, experience goes a long way, and Benfica, they have a ton of that.
Haven't they also been domestically not great under Parker since he took over?
Well, that's why they sacked the coach,
Yeah, but don't they only have 1 win in their last 6?
Yeah, some draws in there, though.
Yeah, a ton of draws, but I think only 1 win, and I think their last 6 games or so. So it doesn't give me much confidence with what's going on there. I mean, they started off so great, though. They were so fun to watch in the group stage, but we have to remember they still came in second in the group stage to Porto, and Benfica topped their group, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want them to do well.
Porto,
Porto. I think I want Brugge to do well.
Yeah.
Get some CanCon in there with Tejan Buchanan.
Absolutely,
I mean, to see him in the quarterfinals of the Champions, I mean, to see him in the round of 16 is fantastic. But
I want to see Gonzalo Ramos, the next Ronaldo, we were told at the World Cup after that great goal. Was against Switzerland, wasn't it? I think the 6-0.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. He scored a lot of goals this year. I think 18 on the campaign so far. So we'll see.
Strong
a
team.
guy that's being linked heavily with Manchester United this summer as well. So
is
lots of
everybody else.
intrigue in all these games. But I'd say Bruges Benfica might be the best match of the bunch. It may not be the most glamorous tilt right now, but a really good one. They'll go next Tuesday and Wednesday.